Hey everyone, welcome to the Brainstorm to Brand Blueprint weekly sessions where we talk about different problems that you have in the product development space. Just a reminder, my name is Farhan and this is Sohan, and we're both running the program. And we're excited to have you here to help you with the different problems that you have bringing your product to life. And let's get started. You submit your questions weekly and we answer them. And if you're here with us, we answer your questions live. So, Sohan, tell us about what do we have this week? What are we talking about for the first ever week of a Brainstorm to Brand Blueprint?
Um, we got a few questions, and I think some of the question is also question that I never got to ask you. So I think it'll be interesting to hear your perspective. But
Oh
yeah,
man.
I guess we can jump right in, and you can answer the questions and take do some hot takes. So my first question to Farhan is, you've had a diverse career from Apple to founding Noble to many other ventures. So the question is, can you share what drives your passion for such innovation in design and tech? And the main thing is, how do you maintain that over the years? Like, don't you get just tired or bored of it?
Oh, that's a very long question, and the answer is also long. So I can tell you a little bit about the story. So, for those who don't know, I was part of Apple for on the Vision Pro as one of the first engineers that ever joined the Vision Pro, number 10, number 11 actually, and I built that product from the ground up, just from sketches. And as I built it, the cool thing about being in an Apple at that time is a lot of people don't realize that most of the work you do at a giant company like that is like kind of menial, small tasks here and there. And as you grow after maybe 5 to 10 years, maybe 10 years later, you get to really touch things that are bigger and more robust and or more like they mean more. For example, like a new engineer may work on screws and tapes for like years before they actually work on like the housing of the iPhone. But being in a small team like that, we had to work on everything. It was like a startup. But eventually, it's Apple, right? There are systems in place, and you need to kind of follow those rules and regulations and do things like that. And I've always had an itch to build my own thing. So out of university, I actually didn't have a job for like 6 months. And that's because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And you didn't even know that. I don't know if you know this, Sohan, but out of university, I was looking for a job for 6 months. And it wasn't because I wasn't trying to find a job. It was more because I didn't know what I wanted to do. We had this program called Velocity in University of Waterloo where you could apply with a startup. And I've always wanted to create my own startup. And I always kept thinking, what idea can I have? What can I do? And all this stuff. I want to apply. I want to make a startup. That was literally out of university. I've been wanting to do that. But then I got the job at Apple. I'm like, let's just go try it out and see what happens. And it was really nice. But then quickly that bug hit me again. It's like, hey, why are you not building something of your own that can provide a lot of value to people? And so one of my friends, he invited me to go and join him and build a Hoop Fit, which is a basketball robot machine. You might see some B-roll here and there to show you what that is, but it helps. You get better at basketball. And that was fun, but I also had that feeling that hey, this is not my own thing, and I noticed that I'm not learning a diverse number of skills. I was put into a position where I needed to build the product, and it's good. Like building a product from scratch like that with no funding is totally different too. I mean, with very little funding compared to Apple. And that time I still felt that itch of, hey, I don't know how to sell things. I don't know how to do customer support and service. I don't know how to, I'm not going to actually interact with a customer like that at that level. And it's still not my own thing. It's still my friend's idea. How can I come up with an idea either on my own or with people that I want to co-found with? And that's where Noble came about, and that's where I met you, Sohan. I was like, hey, you're like, yo, Farhan, I want to get a better experience in university. Do you have any ideas? I'm like, yo, just join me. Come work for me for free. So I got free labor to work on some projects, but then through that we got a lot of experience building side note. And so, yeah. But what drives me to do that, I don't exactly know why, but I think there is something in me that I think if it's in you, you'll understand, which is trying to be the one that creates their own destiny rather than kind of letting things happen to them. I needed to quit the job at Apple. I needed to leave the job at HoopFit, and those were very hard decisions overall. it fundamentally came down to I still want to be the one that controls my destiny. I don't want to be someone who's relying on a paycheck uh day to day. And don't get me wrong, those are not a problem. Like if you need that, if you have families, if you are someone who likes the stability, there's no problem in that. It's just me that's how I felt. And then kind of following up, it's never easy. Like it's not always easy, I would say that. It's hard like all the time. There'll be days that are absolutely soul crushing and there are days that are awesome. And unlike a job where most days are okay, average, and some days are good, some days are bad, and the highs and lows are kind of mellow. Uh, and when you're doing your own thing, the highs and lows are extreme. Like you'll have such awful days. You're like waking up in the morning, nothing's going right. You have a complaint from someone is like, "Hey, when do I get my refund? I'm going to sue you." to like, "Oh, I love the product. It's so good. I was so happy to get it." All those the entire range of things, right? So so it is hard. So you need to kind of self motivate a lot, and you need to think of the bigger picture that eventually all of this comes what will come in some sort of freedom, some sort of like impact that you want to have in your own life, and that it'll things will be good in the end, and you'll make an impact. And at the end of the day, I can always go back to a job if I wanted to, uh, and so that's always there available for everyone. But not everyone has a choice to go and build something because it comes with a big cost, which is like uh, you needing to direct yourself. And I think that I'll put that as a last point. If you find it hard to figure things out, you'll have a hard time building your own thing because no one is there to help you. So so yeah, that's my answer.
Okay. No, thanks for sharing your insight. It's very interesting. Uh, is
Looks like we
Do we
have
have someone
another
else?
Adrian's on the call,
Okay.
so we'll let Adrian join.
Oh,
But until then, what's the next question?
yeah, for sure. No, thanks for sharing your insight. It was I guess interesting to kind of know a little bit of background. But yeah, next question is also I think something I wanted to ask to an Apple employee in general. It's very interesting. So I mean we all know like Apple just keeps their stuff top secret, and Google is notorious for revealing them. I don't know, it's like probably their marketing strategy. So I guess you said you started working on the Apple Vision Pro after graduation, so that would have been 2017.
Yeah. Yeah.
2017. So since then until the day of the release, like what was like the pressure like just keeping your project secret? Like say you're at a dinner and people are asking like what do you do
Oh,
for Apple? Like did it ever slip? Like what was the pressure like?
yeah. I'm often asked, "What do you do in the fruit company?" I'd be like, "I'm peeling them." But yeah, I mean, it's people often ask, and I think the hardest thing of it is like it's hard to be proud of what you're working on when you're not able to talk about it. That's one of the hardest things because like a lot of people leave Apple when their projects are cut because it's so soul crushing. So do you remember like say the do you remember the mat that charged a whole bunch of stuff that they were going the air power mat that was supposed to be released but then got canceled? That was soul crushing for many people, and there are many projects like that that never see the light of day or will never see the light of day.
Like the
And
Apple
so
car?
we don't talk about that one. It's too soon. Too soon to talk about that one. But yeah, it was hard because like I couldn't work at home from home that easily. I had to put like this black curtain to block it out so that my wife couldn't see what I'm working on. Like no one could know, you know, like no
Uh-huh.
one is allowed to see what I'm working on, and that's hard. And even my friends at work at Apple, most of them didn't know what I was working on. Like my building that I was working in was like blacked out. Like you couldn't see. Like we had this one way mirror kind of thing, so that people couldn't see from the outside because there'd be drones like flying by trying to see, hey, what's in this, what's in this Apple building, what's going on here. So,
Also a
so
concentration camp.
so we needed to be very careful. So, but yeah, it's very tough not to talk about it, to be honest. Um, Apple has a philosophy of building in secret. And I think when you're a big company, maybe that's the way to go. But my philosophy has changed where I try to be a bit more open about what I'm building because most of the time when you're so small, it doesn't matter. You don't have much to protect or you're not important enough to protect, and your idea is probably not as good as you think it is. And building in a bit more in public, especially after you've had some sort of protection, like if you're like maybe have like a patent pending or something, or maybe just applied for it, or maybe worked with your attorney to say, hey, if I make it public now, is it okay? It's a lot nicer to show people what you're working on. A lot of people in software have found a great amount of success building in public. And at the end of the day, I found that what's more important for like companies is the brand, right? That's something we preach and push a lot, is building a good brand, because at the end of the day, people buy the brand as well as the product, and you don't want to have just one customer and lose them. You want to have a recurring customer for as long as possible. So if you build in public, they can see the hard work you're putting into it. They trust you more. They believe in you more. And that's what we found with Side Note, right? We were building in
Yeah.
public with them, and we're showing them what the products, what the problems are happening, and talking about the shipping issues and production issues and prototype issues and all this stuff. And I think they appreciate how honest we are and how like dedicated we are to making the best product we can. And perhaps maybe Apple by now could see a shift, like if they shifted to more of an open approach instead of that secretive, because it feels like a big omen, or like some sort of like big daddy's watching, like don't share secrets, right? It kind of
Yeah.
is a negative brand in some ways, right? But at the same time, Apple likes to do what they call surprise and delight. They want to have that big surprise when it comes out, and a lot of things aren't shown. Like the watch, Apple Watch, you can use that to ping your phone. That was a feature that's like hidden, and they want you to discover it, these kind of things. So a lot of the time they don't show features so that you can discover it for yourself as like little Easter eggs. And I think you can balance it. We have some of those Easter eggs in our product, in Sidekick, and in Side Note Sidekick to come. So wait for that. But Side Note, we have a lot of Easter eggs that, like, when you open the packaging, when you start using it, you don't know that we have them in there, and only some people might notice it, and that's okay with us because those people, it's for them. So yeah. Anyway, that's my answer there.
Yeah, no, it's a good perspective because I think like one thing I'll also share is when I started working with Farhan, I had the same philosophy that whatever we work on, it has to be top secret until Farhan started pushing me. He's like, no, go show your friend, tell them like what they think and stuff. And I think that shaped a lot about Side Note and Side Note's design and overall. So I remember whenever my friends would ask me, what are you working on with Farhan? Are you allowed to share? And I would say like, oh yeah, for sure. Like here's my design. And they would say like, are you not scared that I'm gonna steal your design? And my answer would be like, yeah, please go ahead. If you can do better, I'll come work for you. And at that step, they'd be like, yeah, true, I don't think I can. Yeah, it's a good perspective. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, actually, like
The next,
I'll add, if I can add a little bit there.
yeah,
It's like most people are always scared about starting and like sharing, and they don't even start. Most people will not start. They'll have ideas in their head and they don't start. And perhaps someone listening here is in that same boat, right? That's what this is for, right? The program is for you to feel confident that you can start and you can build something, and that most people will never start. So there's nothing to worry about. And then also, Apple can get away with releasing something without feedback. Like that is a big thing. Like, if you're building in secret, you're going to assume that people will want what you're coming out with. That is very wrong to assume, because you have no feedback if it's good enough, if like the feature that you're building is what people want. Is it actually what people want? And honestly, like I'm sad to say, but like really good examples in the last few days are like the humane AI pin, right? That is a very interesting concept, but there's almost no feedback. It seems like they have almost no feedback from people actually using it, and they release a product that they think is good, but the customers didn't really help shape into what would actually be good. And now they probably need to wait till Gen 2 until they perfect it. And so they're in a spot where it almost seems that we as a customer need to pay for their mistakes. And that's why they're having a lot of backlash. And I think if you're building a product, whatever, software, hardware, doesn't matter, by the time you're getting people to pay a premium, especially, it needs to be ready. Like, it needs to be that customers are getting more than they paid for. Like, not the same. Like, they shouldn't feel like, oh, I paid $100. This is about right. That's it. I got $100 back. No, you should charge them $100 and make them feel like they paid for something that, like, they've underpaid. Like, they got something that's worth $1,000, $10,000. That's when you get the customers that keep coming back. And it's extremely bad to make a customer feel like, wow, I overpaid and it's not even ready, and I feel like I'm paying for their R&D. Like, that's not right. So be careful when you're building. Like, building in public has a lot of benefits too, which is getting feedback really early on and building the right product. Yeah.
I see. No, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, moving on. The next question is it's about, I guess, your experience. So they're asking, you mentioned you worked with many organizations, including like the Dubai Police, which we would love to know a little bit more. But could you just share how these experiences working with, like, say, big companies like Apple to like small scale startup to like international organizations like Dubai Police has just shaped your approach to product development and team collaboration? Because I'm assuming by the sound of the question, it just seems like they're all different dynamics and different work culture. So how did that shape your approach to like product development in general?
Oh, that's a major question. Yeah, Dubai Police was something here. Look, they gave me this Dubai Police water bottle, and I have a lot. I'm
Nice,
not
yeah.
allowed to actually wear like a Dubai merch apparently, Dubai police merch outside. So let's see. But anyways, yeah, every single organization will always have a different culture. That's basically it. Right? They have different cultures, and you got to either adapt or you got to bring in something that helps shape it in a new way. Apple's like massive, big. It started with a startup that had unlimited money and shaped into more of this massive behemoth. The way I like to look at it is I try to understand what is best and working well there that needs to stay and what needs to change or what do I need to kind of update a little bit to fit me a bit better. So, for example, at Apple, uh, there's a lot of like emphasis on working with an OEM, which are these the manufacturers that build custom parts for you. That's what who they are, and so you work with them, you come up with custom designs, and you send it to them. But usually, you have so many designs and so many things to do that you kind of want to have a partnership with them rather than giving them a design and telling them build it. What you want to do is you want to leverage them where you're building in concurrently with them. So you're building a product. You're just doing one design and you're having them do a couple more designs with you, and then you all work together to down select the best one. And it's usually aspects of all of them that go together and then become that final design. So that's like a good way to use it. You could do a JDM model, which is like where they kind of make they have custom parts and you kind of modify it a little bit. And that way, again, you want to collaborate with them and come up with a good part that works at the end, but you leverage them to work with you. The danger though is a lot of the times you'll see some people will leverage them completely and not do any design themselves and just let them like, here's a box, this is how much space you have, this is what features I want, fill it in, like give me something that works. The danger there is you don't get to be creative and you don't get to be an engineer and you rely totally on their expertise, and that can backfire very hard. So those are the two models, and Apple or like a big company like Google or like a startup that has a lot of funding, you'll probably find some level there. When it comes to something like your own startup, you need to kind of be you probably do either JDM model where you have like criteria that you need them to fill and kind of fix up. So for example, in HoopFit, we had like these, we knew what motor we needed, we knew what kind of power we needed with the volume we had, and so we would share those with them. And then there's custom parts that are like the housing and kind of other things that it would need to fit within. And so it's kind of like a hybrid approach. But if you have a good partner in Asia or USA, wherever, if you have a good manufacturing partner, they can help fill in the gaps. When it comes to something like a consulting gig, where it's with the Dubai police, it's a bit more free. You can build a lot of that yourself. You can find contractors to help you, and you have a lot more control over what you need to do at the end of the day because it's also a limited quantity. So I think it also depends on how many you're building. If you're building like several thousand versus several million, several like just a couple dozen, it's really different, right? Because you can build some by hand, you can use a partner to build more, or you need to have an actual factory, like full out machine to manufacture in the other case. And but I think one thing that I do that is very different than a lot of people is I have a whole bunch of great people that are surrounding me that are like not only employees but like they're kind of partners. Like for example, Sohan, you're here. I pay Sohan to be here, but he also learns. So like we have like a partnership because he not only does he get paid, but he has equity in a lot of the things we do. So as we scale, as we grow, he has a lot of benefit that comes from it because like he is seeing the growth, he is growing himself, and the company is growing, and so he'll get rewarded for that eventually, right? And so what's cool about that is I get to share my brain with multiple people. So I get to let Sohan kind of be an expert at what he does. Let me be the expert in what I need to do. And then there'll be shared responsibility where he gets to kind of think similar to me, but in his own way, which he comes up with creative things on his own for ads and all that stuff, which I'm really excited for. So that it adds, he gets to share, like I get to let my brain go somewhere else and he gets to add his own. So now I have like these multiple people around me that are working towards a similar kind of goal and with similar kind of strategy, similar kind of like uh, say like attention to detail and kind of outlook in the product and so on, and that helps drive really hard towards a really awesome goal at the end. And that's what you want. You want to have a really great team that you can kind of rely on. I have Thomas who does industrial design, and he gets to be like my third brain, where he has like really great design skills, right? Or like Safir, who will be like kind of business side. He can help with strategy and finding new partners and all that kind of stuff. So working together with a lot of people, collaborating with them, letting them do what they're good at, and then like sharing brains. It's there's an equation: 1 + 1 = 11. That's what happens here, where it's like 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 equals like 500. So that's why I'm efficient in what I do, and we're all efficient in what we do because we can rely on each other and do different things. And it's a bit different than at a job where you're expected to do one thing. And here is a secret I will share with you. If I ever go back to, I don't know if they want to hear this, but if I ever go back into a corporate job, they'll be fine with me doing this because I'll be so productive. But I will never go back without an assistant. Like I will literally find a VA somewhere that will be my assistant, or I'll find like an engineer in Pakistan or something that I can pay like $500 a month to do extra
Me.
designs for me. yeah, yeah. But like imagine that, right? Like you have an extra brain. Literally they employed you, but you come off as like you two people, right? Like it's insane,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know why people don't think about that, like leveraging like other people to help them the way that they do. So you just need to be have enough time to guide them. But anyway, that's that.
No, very interesting perspective. But no, thanks for sharing. Um, the next question is a technical question, I guess, but I'd also like to know. So, as you mentioned, you have over 50 patents. I see you don't have space for them in your shelf anymore. But so they're asking what advice would you give to like young inventors who are looking to navigate, say, like the design world? Is it very important for them to have patents? Is it like a daunting task to file patents? Like, what's your perspective on having, like, say, patents in general and or accumulating so many number of patents over time?
Yeah, it's a tough one because you want to protect, but you need to know if it's worth protecting. That's kind of what I'll say. It's not easy to get a patent. In fact, it's probably going to save you money and time getting a patent attorney to do it for you, uh, as much as you can. Like this is one thing that I need to had to train myself and teach a lot of people, even Sohan, many people. Leverage people who are good at what they do because it will save you. It should save you time and money in the long run. So if you have a good patent attorney, if you need one, you can let me know. I can refer you to one who's excellent. Um, but if you for patents, you can you can definitely like you should work with someone to do them because it's much easier and you more likely will have a protected patent. But you also need to know if it's worth protecting. And I think if people are buying it, if people are interested, that's when you can consider making a patent. Trademarks, I would say, are a bit more important. Where if you have some brand that is a really good brand, people buy the brand, not the actual product per se. So like Nike shoes are really good products and really technically advanced and like innovative, but it has a swoosh, and that's why people pay extra for it, right? And like a t-shirt is a t-shirt. Why do you pay for a Nike shirt versus not, right? So protect building a great brand is more important, I would say, in the long term. And in the short term, if it's something worth protecting, you can protect. However, we talked about this. Building in public can help because then people trust you and see you're building something really good. Yeah.
I'll take another question. So this one's about we heard about all the successes, all the complicated stuff. Now we want to hear about your failure. So the next question is from someone who wants to know if you can discuss a product or a project that did not go as planned and what lessons you learned from that experience.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting an interview for like a job here. Like, tell me about
Yeah,
your
these are
failure.
very
Tell
high level high level questions.
Yo, are you gonna hire me? Do you have a job? A questionnaire.
We'll let you know after five more interviews.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, that Sohan knows the interview process here is crazy. You have to do like 5 to 10 interviews. It's crazy. Yeah. So, failures. One of the major failures I've had is actually a product called Horizon in a company I made called Far Future. I think the product itself is really good. Just the strategy that we used was not. Um, Essentially, long story short, our Kickstarter failed miserably, and that's because we learned too late what makes a good Kickstarter namely being how to beat the algorithm on Kickstarter. And we'll to release a lot of videos about that, so you guys have a lot of knowledge on how to release your own Kickstarters. So we'll reserve that for another time. But I'll give you like the long and short, which is um, we we built this product with a consulting agency because we didn't have time to build it ourselves. And we spent almost $50,000 with them to come up with a very simple prototype. And there's two reasons, actually our fault more than theirs. We were thinking like an Apple level startup that has money that wants to go and do R&D and build something perfect and then release it without getting feedback, without getting customer support, going into like demographics and ergonomics and all this stuff. And all that data and all that stuff was just useless at the end because we didn't even get a chance to build something. We just data crunched for a long time. We didn't actually try and prototype and build things. And that's one lesson that I've learned. Your first product is actually going to be probably like just okay. And as long as it's okay, and as long as you can be a little bit profitable, and as long as you can uh, deliver on the promise that you've made, like the core promise, and you should make one or two very specific core promises, then you can go and build it better next time and next time and next time. But that first product, if you're making like this crazy thing and you don't have any capital and you're trying to build it on your own and you're bootstrapping it, you should think twice. It's not easy to build a product off by yourself. And if you're getting consulting, they will find ways, and it's their prerogative to find ways to make it as perfect as possible because they want you to be happy with it. But the problem is they don't realize, typically they don't realize that you need to get something out there quickly, and you need to get something out there cheaply, and it's not good for them because they don't get to work with you that long either. So yeah, that's why that was a failure. It was cost too much, it took too much time, and at the end we had too complicated a product, and it did not do well on Kickstarter. It did really poorly on Kickstarter, so we had to abandon that at that point. But we are thinking about bringing it back into our noble brand, and we'll share more on that later if we do decide to do that. But that's probably one of the most iconic failures that we had. But I will say one thing: don't let the failure stop you. That is the main. If there's something that you're going to take out of this, it will be this: you are going to fail a billion times, like more times than you can count. And that is, this, you've heard this before, you're going to fail. But what do you do if you fail? Firstly, take some time to recover from it. It's normal. You're going to feel bad and all this stuff. But once you're done recovering, learn from the mistake and never do it again. The failures are there to help you not do them again, so that next time you go try something, you're going to avoid that and do better and go a little bit further. You're going to go 2 steps up and 1 step down. That's life. You're going to go a little bit further. You're going to beat some dragon. You're going to slay some dragon, but then a troll is going to be behind, the bushes somewhere, right? I'm going to send you back to the respawn point, and take those lessons, really reflect on what you learned, and you'll do well. So our first Kickstarter did poorly. We knew that we needed someone to help us with Kickstarter. Our second one did $30,000 in 30 days, right? Like, it is insane. We just learned everything we did wrong. We made a much simpler product. We went directly into building as soon as possible, finding a vendor to manufacture it, make nice content, all that stuff. And now we're doing our third one, which may cross the 6-digit mark on day one. So my point is that learn from what works, learn from what didn't work, and don't, like, you can always give up. Like, everyone can choose to give up, but you also need to you have to choose that. You have to choose to give up. And if you give up, nothing's going to happen. And if you don't, and if you do something, maybe you won't be successful, but you will never be successful if you give up. That's for sure. Right? You will never have any success if you stop. That is guaranteed. And if you do try, you may not have success, but at least you tried. At least you got better. So that's what I'll leave you with there. All right, we have 3 minutes before we get kicked off of our own meeting. Any last thoughts or questions?
No, I guess there are some more questions, but I think in general we covered the main, I guess, like the main aspects of today's Q&A. But yeah, no, thanks for sharing your perspective. And I guess like the main thing here, we always joke around is if we got $1 for every time we made a mistake or failed, both probably be billionaires by now. But yeah,
Oh
no,
man.
it's yeah. I guess it's good to kind of end to this Q&A on a positive note. But yeah, do you have any other thoughts in general, or something that you're looking forward to, Farhan, in this community in general?
Yeah, I think my main point of the community is to bring like-minded people who want to build things and know the value of building good products and know that there's a struggle to doing so and cherishes the struggle and takes the time to build something really great. And we have lots of great people in the community, Apple engineers, people who have worked with like celebrities, with Dubai police, not just me. Like we have some excellent people in the community that can help as well. So I'm glad that you joined. There's we can help from if we can help each other, we can benefit from each other, and we can maybe create something grand in the future. Let's bring back. Everyone's focusing on like software products, and I mean they're good software. And I hope if you're building a software product with us, it goes well. Well, let's also bring back like let's build the next generation of like Dysons and Steve Jobs and all that who are building these physical products that are changing the world. So if you do decide to join, I'm happy that you're here, and I hope that we can be part of that success, and we can be a little pit stop in your journey of greatness.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. And yeah, like someone was saying yesterday in the group is if you want to get discounts on Apple products, we have many Apple engineers in this group too. So it might be good for you to network and
Oh
connect
yeah,
with them and like
I should put that. I should put that like get 25% off discounts on Apple products if you join.
yeah.
Yeah, cool,
But yeah, no,
awesome.
I guess it was overall a good Q&A.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing your insights. But yeah, we look forward to the next one.
Awesome. All right, see you all there next week.
Yeah.
Take care. Bye.
All right, take care. Bye.